Hi, Patty. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Cliff?
Hey, folks. I'm introducing Patty Roche. She's joining us from C60, and she's our last official speaker today. And I really look forward to talking to you. How are you doing today?
I'm ready to go, and it's probably good you saved me for last. I'm guessing that loving business is something that all of the ladies have in common, but I doubt very many of them have been through the levels of suppression that my work has gone through over the years. And I think I was kind of a practice run for what we're seeing right now on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter.
Yeah.
Basic you-twit face is what we call them. Um, Taking down everyone. I've been taken down since 2013, when I was doing beautiful music. 2008,
Huh.
my music was being sold by 234 stores around the world illegally. And I still wasn't getting what was going on. But I played music for 33 years, absolutely loved it, and went to a dentist. And I knew about mercury poisoning at the top of this century.
Hmm.
And so I said, I'm here for white porcelain fillings. And he, for some reason, was part of what's going on today, I imagine, filled me up with mercury, and I lost the use of my hands for
Ouch.
16 years.
Wow.
I'm still dealing with cuts on my fingers,
So,
but
were
for
you like
whatever.
a guitarist or something like that? What kind of music?
No, I played harp. My
Oh,
my photo on the cover has a beautiful
okay.
picture of my
Part.
harp. But I couldn't understand what was happening back then. Why would somebody be hacking music? And it was very etheric. It was very relaxing. It was very peaceful. And with the loss of my hands, which was devastating,
Mhm.
I thought, what the heck can I do? So I went to every kind of doctor, every kind of healer, and out of complete desperation, I went laid in a crop circle in England. Of all weird things to do, never into ufology or anything of the kind. And next thing I knew, I made 8 movies about crop circles.
Well, what inspired you to jump into the circle in the first place? I mean, where did that come from? That's interesting.
I gave up on doctors. I
Uh-huh.
gave up on dentists because my doctors, unfortunately, were giving me the wrong blood test, which they're doing across America or across America
Uh-huh.
and the world for poisonous fillings.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sorry to say what they're doing today with the jab. It's got aluminum and mercury, and people don't want that in their bodies. But I knew too much back then. But I finally just gave up music because I couldn't use my hands.
Mm.
So making the movies, no training. I have no idea how I did it other than I ran into some people who had just come back from England in the crop circles. And I took a look at their face and I said, what's different about you? You look different. And they told me where they had been. And that's what inspired me, Cliff. I was like, you guys are totally different. They said, oh, magic, woo woo. And I was so desperate to heal, get my hands back, that I went and laid in a crop circle and then another. And I laid in probably more than 100 crop circles in the UK over 10 years. And I made 8 incredible films that were so much fun. And there's a wonderful crop circle. I told my friend when I was flying over in the microlight, stand in the middle of the middle circle and I'm going to film you. And it looked so great that I put it on the cover. These were my second and third awards. I received 5 of these big Alien Evie awards for my
I love
movies,
it. How much fun is that?
right? Look, he's got a little movie camera and a little alien butt, which most people don't get to see.
Yeah.
So I made 4 movies, and different distributors, for some reason, signed me up and then suppressed the films. And I didn't know what that was about until I made movie 8. So this was number 4. It won a couple of awards.
Uh-huh.
This is number 5. The shift has hit the fan. And this one introduces a lot of free energy scientists. And I wasn't realizing the, shall we call it, threat on America of honesty and grace and honor. I mean, I think everything that's free energy, proactive for humanity's evolution, has really been tested, is a nice way to say it. In the crop circles, I saw so many unbelievable things that I made this movie called Orbs and Light Beings. But the final punchline was Crop Circle Diaries, number 8. And this one received the 2017 People's Choice Award and the Best UFO Film of the Year at the International UFO Congress Convention. And then I learned what it was about my films that was causing so much suppression, not realizing what we're in today. This was still a few years ago. And what it was my films exposed the fact that crop circle seeds, real crop circles, not the ones made by the blokes with the drunk and they go in the ropes and boards and
the board, yeah, and the shoes, yeah.
Right, which they do for Ancient Aliens and BBC. So whenever those TV people show up, my friend in England, I called him one day in May before we had any crop circles. And I said, "You ready for summer?" And he said, "Actually, I got to go because I've got Ancient Aliens coming over to film today." And I said, "There's no crop circles." And he said, "I know. They called me in advance and asked me to hire a crew." I was like, why don't they just wait a month when there's 10 crop circles, or go to Ohio and, do one there? Punchline was pretty much what I knew. But what got my films in trouble was that the truth about crop circles took me into the laboratory, the only lab in the world that was testing crop circle seeds and stalks. And what was incredible that everybody has to admit, even Ancient Aliens and BBC, is that when they bend over, there's a big ball of like a burn spot. And right before it bent, something heated the liquid inside the stalk of that wheat or barley or corn. And it caused it to have this big bubble. But there's 100,000 of them, or maybe 10, who knows how many, but the fields can be up to 4 acres of laid crop in these magnificent patterns. Have you looked at pictures of crop circles?
Before, it's fascinating.
Yeah. So the punchline is, once I got to the lab, and again, the way I got to the lab is the weirdest story. We don't have enough time, but Crop Circle Diaries, my final film, is what everybody needs to see. It's where I basically let my complete, what is it called? Freak flag fly. I told the truth about what happened to me in the crop circles. There were the most amazing events. And I was kind of in a different state of mind because I had so much mercury in my body that there was something in me that was almost too intuitive. Like I knew where to go. I knew when to get there. And the movies were effortless. I have never trained. I've never known anything about cameras, but I held the camera and filmed them myself. I watched editors do my first 5 films, and then I started editing. I'm not saying I'm brilliant. I'm saying the intuition from that poisoning brought me to a place where I could do this work. The punchline of crop circle science is that the seeds in crop circles can grow 30 to 400% more food and biofuel per plant, with up to 75% more nutrition per seed.
Wow.
So what we have here is a miracle technology happening in the fields. And because I don't know if they even know, all these people that are lying about crop circles, but when I learned this, I thought it was the most amazing thing in the world. We can save the food supply. And in the lab, we actually had created, they, not me, the scientist and the lady I filmed with, Crop Circle Diaries, they had recreated the technology into a simple machine that anybody can make to bring the science to the farmers of the world, and we can bring our food supply back. So unfortunately, it must have been true because the suppression has been stunning. Unreal.
So that's fascinating. How many years were you involved in actively doing the movies?
10 years, 2006 to 2016. And the UFO field was, I'll just gently say, infiltrated and destroyed.
Well, that's a shame because it's fascinating. It's fascinating information, and not only that, it's kind of fun to watch. So yeah.
My
So
films are very fun, but the other thing I want to mention before we move on to something else is that crop circles are not made by UFOs or aliens. They're not coming out of the sky by military satellites. Crop circles are actually coming out of the earth in spinning plasma fields, proven scientifically. And when they spin fast enough to the right frequency of the pre-planned message that's going in the field, it happens in seconds. Boom, they all go down. And there's one of 408 circles within one crop circle, and they're laid in a Fibonacci sequence, a spiral of Fibonacci math. And it just goes on, and there's 409 circles. Not one of them is out of place or out of measure. And my friend over there that ran the research center when we still had a UFO field, he said he was in that formation at 5:30 a.m. It had rained all night. It was really muddy. He walked the whole perimeter, not one footprint. Crop circles are real.
wow, that's amazing. So since that's absolutely fascinating, by the way. And what's the season for those? Is there a season for them, or okay? And what is that?
It's when the wheat comes up in the fields. So even though we don't allow the public to know that we have a lot of them in America, we have a lot of them in America. And the scientist actually said that the energy is higher in America than it is in England, where I did all my research. And the season basically in America, we don't freeze here other than last week, Texas, and,
Right.
places that are obviously cold. I'm in Colorado, so, we get snow. But in England, basically the season starts in May. We'll get a few. June, we get a lot. July, we get really a lot. August, a few less. And then the farmers go in and mow out the fields. What was interesting about last year, 2020, early in May, we had a crop circle of a virus. We had the COVID crop circle in May. Now, if they're coming out of the earth and spinning plasma fields, who's making them? It's not who, it's the earth herself. And a lot of us forget that the earth is a living entity. She's a living being. She grows trees and plants like we grow hair. And I think that the earth is very conscious and that she's been watching us and trying to communicate over the years. At the turn of this century, there was this incredible crop circle called the alien face and the disc. I don't know if you remember that one. It was this alien face next to a big round disc that looked like one of those player piano records. It had binary code. And the mathematicians and the scientists, computer scientists, dissected the message or deciphered the message as this at the top of this century. Keep in mind, right before 9/11, or was it right after? The message was, beware the bearers of false gifts and their broken promises. Much pain, but still time. Believe there is good out there. We oppose deception. Conduit closing. A real crop circle.
Wow.
So still today, they're suppressing the good stuff and putting out the crap.
Yeah. So that's fascinating. But since 2016, you have some exciting news. What have you been up to?
I do. I had a couple of events that basically, I don't know how to say this politely. People didn't want me to stay alive. And so I got really badly hurt because I was putting out too much information or whatever. And I've been in pretty rough shape. And in my desperation this time, I didn't go lay on Mars or Venus. I didn't reach that far like the last time I reached for crop circles, totally out of character, but not really. I've always been a Boulder, Colorado woo-woo, intuitive. So I fortunately discovered the carbon-60 molecule for healing. Have you heard anything about C60, carbon-60?
No, just what you've told me. So it's a whole new thing to me.
Well, I'll have to send you and your lovely wife a bottle to sample if you're interested.
I'd love to. Sure.
Oh, good. Well, carbon 60 is the C60 molecule received the Nobel Prize in Science in 1996 for its excellent qualities. And they weren't even thinking of it healing humans. They were using it for batteries, solar cells, tires. I mean, a lot of different applications. And there was one lab in the world manufacturing C60. And it was these two guys that invented this reactor machine in 1991. And those two guys are my partners now, which is really great. I feel like the gods are finally paying me back because I've never had anything this easy to sell. Everybody that takes it the first day, they're like, what? And my first half hour, I was almost unable to walk a few years ago. And I took a spoonful, and next thing I knew, I got up and was like, what? So I was the first one that asked that question, what? And I started taking it more, and I was taking a lower quality product. So I kind of worked my way up to meet the guys that own the lab, and they flew me down because they knew that I had a rather vast audience on social media through my films. And so it was a no-brainer. They had the product, I have the audience, and the team has just been absolutely incredible. So we opened our company, C60 Evo. And this is the most incredible miracle molecule, is what people call it. The carbon 60 molecule comes in many forms. The lab has made it for years, 30 years, to sell to research institutions around the world. In that case, when they send a sample, it's tested because they have a lab as good as ours. We all have an HPLC machine, so we can measure the quality of the C60 concentration in the product. And so my partners, like I said, really easy to sell when you're selling the best in the field.
Nice.
And when I joined them a year and a half ago, they flew me down. I tasted what they were selling, and I was like, oh, I can't do the Greek olive oil. It's too spicy. As we partner, let me be the girl here, and let's sample some different organic olive oils and avocado and MCT coconut and choose the best taste, because people don't want to take something that doesn't taste good on a spoon. And you can rub it on a steak or pour it on a salad. I like it on a spoon in the morning with food because it tastes fine. And I've never been an olive oil person, so we tweaked it really, really nicely. And what I learned working with them is that of our three oils, olive oil holds more C60 than any other oil on earth at 0.86 milligrams per milliliter. Avocado holds 0.6 no matter how great your lab is. And coconut oil, that a lot of the online C60 people are like, coconut oil, it holds less than half of olive oil, so they don't have HPLC machines. What we're dealing with in the C60 field, unfortunately, is like any field where there's a great demand. You'll get your basement and garage people coming in to make money. And we're dealing with that now. So my partners and I trademarked the term ESS60, which is the evolution of C60 to be safe for human consumption. And there's a big distinction between C60, industrial grade for tires and battery cells, and ESS60, which is for humans, dogs, cats, horses, pets. And so our products are all safe for human consumption. And we're trying to teach the market to be very careful, because C60 made for industrial purposes is not as clean at all, and it can actually be dangerous to your health. And we don't want less integral companies selling carbon 60 to be destroying the industry with poor quality or low concentrations. So when somebody like you takes a so-so product, you'll go, yeah, it's okay. But then you take ours on a spoon, it's like, whoa, speed train. So people can tell the difference, and it's expensive to make. And so a little bottle is $95, but we have all kinds of deals and discounts. So I started finding that anytime there was a little loose on the bottle at the top, I poured it on a spoon, little drip, I take it and I rub it on my face. And I kept rubbing it on my face. If you spill any on the counter off your spoon, rub it on your face. And all of a sudden, my brown spots started going away and my skin started softening. And I thought, what? So I called my partners and I said, I'm ready to design a facial serum. Would that be okay with you? And they said, sure. So I started with an herbalist in Boulder who's written more than 20 books. And through her, we came up with chia seed oil as a base. I've never heard of that in a facial serum, but that started ours because her skin was incredible. Excuse me. I said, what on earth are you doing? You look 10 years younger. And she said, chia seed oil. So we did chia seed oil and we did the essence of rosemary oil and 21 other products, a total of 21 natural and organic products. And now we have C60 Evo facial serum.
Nice.
And we found that when people do the two of them, the inside, I'm trying to find the camera, the inside and out is what we call the set, and we discount it. The effects are massive. And I think we're selling more sets of the facial and the edible oil than anything we do now because the testimonials are massive. Everybody's the first morning with the facial serum, they're going, my skin's plump, like my wrinkles are softening. For me, it was brown spots. But then I had to have a surgery 3 months ago on right here, about 1.5 inches. And my dermatologist, when she saw me, she was like, I've never seen anybody heal that fast. And I went, can I give you a bottle? So I'd love to get it to doctors and different people so that we can start to get it more into medical facilities, because people should be using products that are easy, that actually work.
Right. So how's the growth in your company then? It sounds like it's doing really well.
Stunning at a time like this.
Yeah, that's great.
We're up 30% over last year. How can it be in an economy like this? What's most important to people right now is our health.
Right.
And the carbon-60 molecule, ours, delivers more than 172 times the power of vitamin C as an antioxidant.
So that's
pretty stunning.
It's considered an antioxidant.
One of the many qualities, it's an antioxidant, an antiviral, an anti-inflammatory, but with the respect to the medical community, we're not allowed to really say. So we say it's really good in an anti-inflammatory diet. We have to say it that way so that we're not medically incorrect. Huh?
It supports it. That's the terms I use a lot.
Thank you. Supports. Thank you. I usually have my scientist, Chris, on all my podcasts, and he does the science and I do the testimonials, but I'm also a walking example of someone whose life was saved by carbon-60.
And how are your hands after using it?
Say what?
How are your hands? Are you able to do any music still?
I'm playing the piano again.
Okay, good.
Really happy about that.
You get to put your beauty out in the piano.
Huh?
You get to put your talent and beauty out in the piano. That's
it feels so good. And I moved away from Boulder, Colorado to another place in Colorado. And today I'm watching the eagles fly over my backyard. And I'm realizing that I went from Boulder, Colorado, which literally I kept filming the military Chinook helicopters. I'm not sure what's going on, but Boulder's frequency has really dropped. We got U-Twitface headquarters moved to Boulder. I'm sorry, it's only Twitter and Google, but they moved to Boulder, and it's the energy is awful. I'm just going to say I was there 45 years and I couldn't stand it. My kids both moved away and I finally moved. And so my sky went from Chinook helicopters armed with military people with weapons to eagles. And that says to me, everything in me is healing, energetically, spiritually, and in my life. But also to have a business with the owners of the lab for 30 years, probably by far the only people in C60 land with great integrity. What a gift. I just feel like the gods finally said, you survived. And I did have somebody leave uranium in my garage on purpose 2 years ago. I mean,
What?
as
How
a
do you do that?
it was somebody who was scared I was going to tell people who he was, what he was doing. I mean, there's a lot of people just not well. And because I'm somebody that's really out in the open,
Mhm.
probably why I got my 24 hours off Facebook today for posting a meme that everybody else posted. But we're in such a bizarre time of suppression. And for me, watching everything that's going on, it's playbook because I just lived through it.
Right.
And seeing what they did in the courts, it's playbook. But what happened yesterday where they're just, anyway, the punchline is I believe America's coming back.
Mhm.
I think the best is yet to come. And I think that one thing that's a common testimonial about our product, everybody sleeps better. Flexibility, much better. Endurance for sports people. But the greatest one, in my opinion, is the mental acuity and emotional balance, because the product helps at a time like this, not only to keep us well, but also to keep us consciously balanced when the outside world is wearing masks and trying to distance and yelling at you if you don't have your mask up over your nose. And I feel so sorry for those people. I don't know if you know the mask doesn't work, and we won't start that on the air, but this whole thing is just to get people to fight.
Yeah.
Families, couples, it is so sad. So another tablespoon on those days when you don't feel good. A teaspoon is what most people do. I do a tablespoon because I really needed to heal a lot. But again, in my opinion, there's nothing better that I've ever taken in my life. And that's why I took my time and money to the lab in Texas where they flew me down. They wanted to work with me. And it's been the best business of my life, other than when I was 7 and had my very first business of a lemonade stand on the corner in Beverly Hills. I lived way up in the canyon, not the
Nice.
rich, not the rich part of Beverly Hills, but on the corner at Benedict. I held my lemonade stand, and my favorite day was Steve McQueen on his motorcycle. Yes, I'm that old. He came by and he bought some lemonade and gave me a $5 bill. I taped that over my bed for years. I don't
Wow.
know where it went, but I think at 7 years old to have a business that was that fun and exciting started my whole career of loving business, which I still do today.
Good. Well, that's inspirational. Thank you so much. And did you want to just discuss your offer? We've posted it, but what was your offer?
I have offers for both my works. My first 4 films, actually my second 4 films that have not been obligated to distributors, I put them up for free. And in my opinion, they are the most important, including Crop Circle Diaries. So my website is cropcirclefilms with an S.com. And if you go /free, you can see 4 of my films for free. In a
Excellent.
month, I'm done with all my distributors. So in a month, I'm going to put up all 8 for free.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And about the Evo 60, what's the
Yes,
thing on that?
I've got all kinds of deals on C60. Our website is C60EVO, like evolution, C60EVO.com.
Mhm.
And I recommend everybody try it, at least a small bottle. And if you sign up for a subscription, you get 20% off. If you don't love it, you cancel by email, you're done. But very few people have canceled. I think we've got 850 a few months ago. That's how many subscribers we had that haven't left. And we've only been in business a year and a half.
That's fantastic.
It really is. So subscriptions, you get 20% off every month, and we send it to you every month. But we're finding that Europe and Australia, where we do a ton of business, today was Israel and New Zealand so far. I mean, somehow the word is really getting out about our company and our products. So when we sell international, we recommend that people get a bigger bottle less often. So you can sign up for your subscription and just ask, I want a bigger bottle every 2 months or every 3 months. then you save a lot on shipping and
Yeah,
duties.
shipping's tough overseas.
Yeah.
So,
So we do work with people. We've got C60 Evo for dogs, that's essence of bacon, and the C60 for cats with the
that's
essence
the one
of
I want.
salmon, right?
I want the essence of bacon.
Oh, well, you'll have to do C60 Evo for dogs, which is just this.
It's
It's
the
the
same thing.
organic olive oil with the
Uh-huh.
essence. So if you want the bacon, go
Just
for
order
it.
it. I might do that because I love bacon.
Well, there's nothing that would go wrong.
Yeah.
It's just a natural flavor.
Mhm.
So that's funny. I never thought of men would probably want the dog
Yeah.
formulation.
So just put a new label on it. Said C60 Evo for men, bacon flavored.
That's so funny. I'm gonna have to call the lab and tell them
It'll
you
totally
suggested.
work. It'll 100% work.
Oh my God, Cliff, I think you made my day. That's really
No, it totally will work. I would buy it
well.
because it's bacon flavored.
Do you have a dog also?
No, we don't have any. We have chickens.
Ooh, well, I'd say if you had a sick chicken, you might even put a few drops on their food
Oh,
and
that
see
might.
what happens.
Yeah.
My favorite testimonial, because dogs and cats don't lie. People do, but pets don't. We had a guy write us and he said, I can't believe your C60 Evo for dogs. My 14-year-old dog lays in a corner, barely gets up except to eat. And our 6-year-old is running around in circles. I gave him your C60 Evo, and 2 days later, he's back to humping the young dog.
That's a little TMI. Anyway, well, we have to go to the
Can't
next.
fake that.
Patty, thank you so much. It was fun.